Hi everyone, I'm Hoodie Angel Brandon, and welcome to another Fire Emblem Heroes Abyssal Clear. Today we are taking on the new legendary hero, the Fated Saint Deirdre. And we are going to earn the gold symbol of Gallia. I'm not sure why she has this relic of another world, but we are going to take it from her and add it to the Angel Army treasure vault nonetheless. And this map, frankly, was very easy. It only took a few tries, and really it just wasn't that difficult. None of the enemies are particularly threatening or tricky to deal with, and the reinforcements are spread out fairly well, so they are not a huge issue. They don't overwhelm you too badly, and I just found this very easy. So we are going to clear this out with some new units. We are running a debuff team this time. This is the Debuff Division, I guess, of the Angel Army. And we are giving our Dear Professor and some of the other more commonly seen units a bit of a vacation. So this time leading the charge is Sunboy Morgan, and he is running his same set from the showcase where I built him up recently. We are focusing on spreading debuffs and draining the enemy stats with Grima's Truth so that he can trigger his ideal and bonus doubler and just bump himself up and overwhelm the enemy with stats, but the debuffs also help support the team. Next up is Summer Claude, and the only chill he has are his popsicles. He is going to completely destroy the enemies, tear through them, and I think that he's honestly part of what made this a very simple map for me to clear this time around, because Fallen Star giving us a little bit of crowd control with the gravity effect just makes this a much less overwhelming map, and he also has that damage reduction to give him some survivability. And yeah, otherwise fairly simple stuff, just really benefiting from all the debuffs we're stacking on the enemies with him and our allies, and using that to tear through enemies. Next up is Chris, who is running a mixed tank setup, stacking speed res solos so that he can get his speed super high and also bump up his res to a very respectable level. He can take advantage of the debuffs we drop with his Plegian Axe, but for the most part he's going to be off on his own and not really benefiting too much. I really do want to get him a menace skill eventually, because that would really help for when he has to be off on his own like this. But he is going to pretty much pull through on this map through the pure power of raw stats. And then finally is Kaze, who, very similar to the rest, is running his default build, and he is just stacking speed to help guarantee those doubles, preventing any potential doubles with steady impact, and also bumping up his defense to just give him a bit more survivability. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and take down Deirdre. It should not be difficult. This will be a fairly quick little skirmish here, and Deirdre is talking about the difficulties of her love life, which is understandable. It's even worse when you have no love at all, right? But to get a little more serious, we are going to start by repositioning the starting locations of our units. And we want Claude to start on this column and Morgan on this one, because if Claude initiates from this column, he will actually run out of movement for his Canto Remainder effect and will be trapped here, and then we won't be able to safely reposition him out of the way without leaving someone else in range of either the Sword Cavalier or the Axe Fighter. So instead, we want to be able to reposition him up so that we have movement left over so that he can move himself out of the way, and we want to use Morgan to do that so that we can still get debuffs with Grima's Truth onto the Lance Knight, because Kaze and Chris would not be able to apply those debuffs out of combat, so Morgan has to do it. That way we still have those debuffs to trigger Frozen Delight, and Claude is going to move over and attack the Lance Knight. First two attacks do a good chunk. Aegis reduces our third hit, but then on the fourth hit, lethality just tears through them. No withstanding that quad attack. And then we drop our Fallen Star debuff and just move out of the way. Next we're going to have Kaze and Chris move up, but we want to keep Chris out of the way of the enemies right now, so we're just going to stop a little short, not use his full movement. Next the enemies move down, and we're going to just pick them off again. Claude is going to initiate, hit this bow fighter twice, it survives and counterattacks with Glimmer, but thanks to Fallen Star reducing the damage, even with bow effectiveness against flying, we are able to endure and drop some debuffs on them. And next we are going to move over here. Thanks to the Fallen Star effect, we'll be able to bait out this Red Thief. And next we're going to have Morgan take out this Axe Fighter. Bam bam, no issue. And now Kaze can move over and hit the Sword Cavalier. Unfortunately, not taking him out, but does get into position for next turn, and Chris can clean up, finish the job, spread sand everywhere. Maybe that's the defense smoke, actually, it's not sand, it's just smoke. Blue Cavalier attacks Chris, and with our weapon triangle advantage and our speed and res stacked so high, he can't be doubled, and we take very minimal damage. The Red Thief attacks into Claude, and we don't quite take him out on the counterattack, but do a good chunk. And now we can have Claude move up and attack this Red Mage. This Red Mage would be able to take us out if we don't initiate first, and so we're going to clear him out before he can get at any of our units. And next we're going to have Kaze just reposition Claude out of the way, and we're going to have Morgan move up and take out the Red Thief, finish him off, and now he is in position to tank this Green Mage, who can't even reach Kaze thanks to the Fallen Star gravity effect, though I think Kaze would similarly be more than capable of tanking this one. Next we're going to have Chris move over and attack this Blue Cav. We did take a lot of damage out of combat from that Blue Cav because it stacks 2 poison strikes, so we took like 20 after combat damage. But otherwise, wasn't doing a whole lot of damage to Chris, but we did want to clear him out of the way before he just whittled Chris down with the poison strikes. Next Green Mage attacks into Morgan, does 22, but we are going to take him out on the counter, no issues. Next we are going to have Claude move over and attack this Axe Fighter, hit 3 times, trigger lethality, and bam, down he goes. Next we're going to have Kaze move over and take out the Lance Fire with lethality, double, and take him out. And we do want to get Morgan out of the way of Deirdre, he's not going to survive her. And Chris is going to just stay where he is and take out the bow flyer that spawned in, and just chop, 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 down it goes. And Chris has healed himself up. The cleric just wants to get away from Chris, doesn't even want to try and initiate, so runs over, heals up Deirdre, and is still unfortunately in the way, so he didn't really accomplish much, but down you go, bam. And now all that's left is Deirdre herself, and Claude is just going to come in and finish her off. Her Circlet of Balance triggers, but Fallen Star will protect us. And here comes the lethality. Straight to the grave she goes. Even the miracle effect did not save her because of the follow-up attack thanks to our quad. So, very simple, very easy map for us. Again, I think a lot of that was just Claude being very well geared to clearing that map up. But everyone pulled their weight, I feel like. Everyone did a little something, helped take out units, pulled everyone around. And it was just cool to see some new faces, see some older faces that haven't seen as much time in the spotlight, and mix things up a little. And this is also a team that actually has fairly good synergy, which I usually don't run teams that are actually specifically geared towards working together like this, where everyone's kind of focused on debuffs. So that's also kind of interesting. But yeah, I've mentioned it before, the miracle gimmick that they're kind of putting on a bunch of units. It's annoying, but it's really not that difficult to play around. Claude just completely shredded it with the Brave effect. If it hadn't been for that, then we could have just initiated with Chris and chipped her down with melee attacks. Really, it wasn't that big of an issue. It's more annoying than anything. But hopefully, if you were struggling, that gave you some ideas on ways to approach it. And yeah, thank you as always so much for watching, joining us for another Abyssal Takedown. And until next time, this is Hoodie Angel Brandon and the Angel Army, signing out.